पार्थाय प्रतिबोधितां भगवता नारायणेन स्वयं व्यासेन ग्रथितां पुराणमुनिना मध्ये महाभारतम् अद्वैतामृतवर्षिणीं भगवतीम् अष्टादशाध्यायिनीम् अम्ब त्वामनुसन्दधामि भगवद्गीते भवद्वेषिणीम् वसुदेवसुतं देवं कंसचाणूरमर्दनं देवकी परमानन्दं कृष्णं वन्दे जगद्गुरुं मूकं करोति वाचालं पङ्गुं लङ्घयते गिरिं यत्कृपातमहं वन्दे परमानन्दमाधवम्. By the infinite grace of Lord Krishna and Sri Ramakrishna, we are continuing to study the Bhagavadgita. We are in the 4th chapter of the Gita, the incarnation of the Ishvara, the Supreme Lord, generally termed as the avatara. What is avatara? Avatara is descension, descending from the heavenly abode. That is called avatara. It is said the compassionate nature of the Lord Himself gets descended onto the earth. That is what is called avatara. What is the timing of the avatara? Krishna says in the 7th shloka, 7th verse of the Gita, Yada yada hi dharmasya glanirbhavati bharata abhyuttanam adharmasya tadatmanam srujamyaham. Yada yada dharmasya glanihi bhavati. Glanihi means decline. The decline in dharma means decline in these people who follow the right kind of dharma. Dharma is often understood as the religion. Religion has got a different name in our tradition. Religion is not dharma. Religion is mata. But the dharma is the conduct. The conduct of a person is his dharma. But in Sankhya Yoga and Nyaya Shastra, dharma also means the quality. So the quality of water is wetness. The jalasya dharmaha. Jalasya dharmaha. That means the quality of the water. So dharma has got different annotations. Here the dharma is proper conduct. In general, there are two kinds of dharma, Laukika dharma and also the Vaidika dharma. Laukika dharma is day-to-day conduct, day-to-day activities, and the Vaidika dharma is performance of the rituals according to the Vedic injunctions. There is still another classification of the dharma, the samashti dharma and also veshti dharma. Samashti dharma means the collective sense of the dharma which a society has to abide with is called the samashti dharma. In order to abide by the samashti dharma, what one has to perform individually is called the Veshti Dharma. Bhagavad-gita exhorts that one's own conduct, Veshti Dharma, or the individual conduct, individual dharma, Veshti Dharma, should be in consonance with the Samashti Dharma. And this is the teaching of the Bhagavad Gita. Krishna says here, such a dharma, when it gets declines, dharma doesn't decline on its own. When people following the right kind of dharma become dwindled, their number is dwindled, then it is called a decline. If more and more people follow the right kind of dharma, then that is called abhyuttana. Abhyuttana means rising, ascendance. When such people who follow the right kind of dharma becomes rare, then it is called glani, or the decline in dharma. So, ascendancy of dharma and descendancy of dharma. When there is a descendancy of dharma, yada yada hi dharmasya glanihi bhavati Arjuna, he Arjuna, and where there is a decline of dharma, naturally there will be ascendancy of adharma. Abhyuttanam adharmasya, adharmasya abhyuttanam. Naturally, there will be more and more people. The increase in the number of the people who follow adharma. What is adharma? That which is opposite to dharma is called the adharma. Adharma is seen in those who follow the wrong path. So in Ramayana it is very clear. Rama represents dharma. Rama is the embodiment of dharma. Ramo vigrahavan naraha, it says. Rama is the very manifestation of the dharma. In contrast to that, Ravana is depicted as the embodiment of adharma. Whether a person called Ravana or Rama historically exists is immaterial. What we have to take notice, it is the conflict, war between righteousness and the non-righteousness. There in this battle, righteousness alone triumphs in the end. Dharmo rakshati rakshitaha. This is what you find in Mahabharata also. Ramayana is purely an individual battle. The battle between Rama and Ravana. But in Mahabharata, dharma becomes more complex. Dharma is not so simple. There are number of factors, circumstances involved, and so the dharma becomes very intricate in Mahabharata. Yet dharma alone triumphs in the end. Once again, the dictum or the grand truth, both Ramayana and Mahabharata indicate or instructs us is dharmo rakshati rakshitaha. Dharma alone triumphs, the adharma doesn't triumph. But whenever there is a decline of dharma and ascendancy of the adharma, dharma glani and adharmasya abhyutthana, tada srujamyaham. I myself take birth. Tada srujamyaham. Abhyuttanam tada atmanam srujamyaham. Atmanam means myself, or rather a human body I take birth. It is unbecoming of me to take a birth in human form like ordinary people. Even then, taking shelter or presiding over my own prakriti or the maya, I take birth. Aham srujami. I myself will manifest. This is the meaning of the 7th shloka. Abhyuttanam means rising, ascendance of the Dharma. The next shloka says, what is the purpose of the avatara? These shlokas are meant for meditation, contemplation, because these are the very words of the Lord Krishna, who is an incarnation, so that we can be in tune with the consciousness of God. Meditation has several methods. Of course, the upasana we do according to the instruction of the Guru is the primary method. The auxiliary methods are many in number. So we have called Leela Dhyana, thinking about the Lord's deeds. The Lord says, Janma karma cha me divyam. Always contemplating upon that, the Lord's janma and Lord's karma. This is a Leela Dhyana. And second type of meditation is remembering or deep thinking or pondering over the teachings of the Lord Krishna enshrined in the Bhagavadgita and other books. So you come very near to Krishna by reading Bhagavad-gita. We feel closeness to Krishna, affinity to Krishna. That is a great advantage. So this is also a kind of meditation. So reading Bhagavad-gita is nothing less than meditation. Paritranaya sadhunam vinashaya cha dushkrutam dharma samstapanarthaya sambhavami yuge yuge. The purpose of the incarnation is twofold. Already the first fold or the first kind of purpose has been spelled out when there is the timing actually is spelled out, when there is a decline of dharma and ascendancy of the adharma, I take birth. I myself will take birth. I do not send anyone to rectify that. I myself will take birth. This is one aspect. The second aspect is what you will do to rectify that. What is the remedy for this problem? Why you have to come down all the way from your divine abode and take birth, human birth? The purpose is spelled out clearly in the shloka. Paritranaya sadhunam. Sadhus are the representatives or the embodiments of dharma. They have to be protected. Protecting sadhus, protecting good people, protecting who are following dharma in letter and spirit. That is the need of the day when there is a decline of the dharma. Dharma needs protection. Dharma is a universal law. It doesn't need protection, but in that particular time, the people following the Dharma need protection. So they have to grow in leaps and bounds so that Dharma, the practice of the Dharma may be widespread, become widespread on the earth. That is the idea. So paritranaya sadhunam vinashaya cha dushkrutam. So both sadhus, the good people and the bad people, dushkrutam. Kruta means those who are doers. Dushkruta means those who are wrongdoers. They represent dharma. Where dharma, adharma, where dharma resides in sadhus, where adharma resides in dushkrutas, are the bad people. Why we call some people as wicked, evil? Because they harbor what is called dharma. So they have to be destroyed. So we should not take it as a physical destruction. The tendency of human beings to practice adharma, the evil-mindedness has to be curbed, has to be destroyed. So the purpose of incarnation has to be understood more psychologically and spiritually than those depicted in the Puranas. Puranas are also very symbolic in nature. Ravana killed Rama, Rama killed Ravana. What does it mean by that? If Rama kills Ravana, what is that to me? I also have a part of Ravana. I harbor Kama, Krodha, etc., which are synonymous to Ravana. Ravana should not be taken in a very physical sense. Ravana represents the evil tendency within us. There is Ravana in each and every one of us. We should allow to God to enter into our heart and kill those evil tendencies. This is exactly the meaning of Ramayana. Ramayana is not a story of the battle between Rama and Ravana. It is in fact the story, psychological story, or the spiritual journey of a human being from evil to goodness, from goodness to truth or the reality. So paritranaya sadhunam vinashaya cha dushkrutam. The third dimension here is Dharma samstapanarthaya, to establish Dharma. Krishna establishes Dharma. Sri Ramakrishna also establishes Dharma. Stapakaya cha dharmasya, we read. And even Rama also is an establisher of Dharma. All the prophets, all the incarnations that have been born on this earth, including Jesus Christ, Prophet Muhammad, they are all establisher of the Dharma. So their purpose was to re-establish, not just establish, re-establish. So whenever there is an establishing of Dharma, we come across that word, samstapana, we should understand it to be re-establishment, punar samstapana. Because Dharma, according to Indian tradition, is sanatana, is something eternal. As the light, sky, water, these elements are eternal. So the God is eternal. God is the real Dharma. Rutagam satyam param dharma purusham krishna pingalam urdhvaretum virupaksham vishvarupaya vai namo namaha. We read in the Vedas. So Dharma is not different from God. It is the cosmic law that has taken shape into Dharma, that cosmic law itself is the God. So, Vedas do not make difference between Satya, Dharma, Ruta, etc. It is interesting to know the history of the idea of, first we have the word called Rutam, a kind of regulation, a kind of law that governs the whole universe, Rutagams, and same thing was later on called Satyam. Rutagam Satyam. Then same thing came to be known as Dharma. Rutagam Satyam Param Dharma. So in this Vedic stanza, we come across all these words one and the same. So we have to protect them, means they need no protection, but they have to be re-established again and again to suit the circumstances of the time. How Sri Krishna re-established Dharma? It is very interesting. Krishna, for his time, is the rebel. He stood against the dominance of ritualism. Though Vedas teach rituals, they are not the primary objective of one's spiritual life. They are guiding factors to the spiritual life. In order to become spiritual, you have to begin with the rituals. But when that rituals become all in all and predominant, overbearing, then there was a problem. And Krishna stood against that in his teachings in the Bhagavadgita. Kama, he denounced such people who cling to the rituals, only to the rituals, as kamatmanaha, sargaparaha, etc. Though they are filled with the desire, aspiring only for heavens and the pleasures, etc. The real goal is freedom, moksha, not the swarga. So, paritranaya sadhunam vinashaya cha dushkrutam Dharma samstapana. This is how Krishna re-established Dharma. If you want to understand the word Dharma samstapana, we have to read Krishna's story from beginning to the end. Otherwise, we will not be able to understand. The work Krishna did in his lifetime is Dharma samstapana. The same situation recurred in 19th century when Sri Ramakrishna was born. What he did in his own way to suit the times of the modern age, to suit the needs and the requirements of the modern age, Sri Ramakrishna re-established Dharma. That is the Dharma samstapana for that particular age. So, pathstapakaya cha dharmasya sarva dharma swarupine. Stapakaya cha dharmasya, the dharma needed for the present age. The dharma of prayer, dharma of earnest seeking of God, these were very much needed. That Sri Ramakrishna practiced that in his life and re-established Dharma. And that's why he is called the Stapakaya cha, he is the Dharma Stapaka. Dharma Samstapanarthaya is something common to both Sri Ramakrishna and Lord Krishna that we should understand. Common to all the incarnations. Common to Jesus, common to prophets, common to great seas. They have come down to this earth for Dharma samstapana. Now Krishna goes on to tell about how important it is to contemplate on his janma and the karma. Janma means birth, karma means deeds. Why janma is very important? Janma is very important means it is not an ordinary janma. Krishna is not born of intermingling of sexes. As I told you in the last class, he was born in the mind of Vasudeva, as Bhagavata describes, and transferred himself to the womb of the Devaki. That means it is a divine nature of the birth that we had to contemplate. It is something esoteric, something very sacred, without any taint of sexuality or sensuality. So Krishna's janma, Sri Rama Krishna's janma, Rama's janmas are all of similar types. So janma karma cha me divyam yo veti, and also the deeds of the Lord Krishna. Rama did nothing as ordinary people, we common people do, to gain prestige, money, or for one's own self-interest. Self-interest was completely absent in Krishna. Krishna waged many battles, killed so many demons, but he did it only for the sake of society, welfare of the society. So there are two kinds of welfare in our tradition. One is the samashti hita, welfare of all, welfare of the whole community, and swahita. Swahita is what we call selfishness. Samashti hita are the welfare of the society, is what the great people exemplify in their life. We cannot do any work without the sense of selfishness. What I will gain from this, what I will achieve from this. This is the primary motive. But primary motive in the works of the great ones like Lord Krishna and Rama, how a community will be benefited, how a universal good. It is already we have discussed in the third chapter as Loka Sangrahamevartam, the welfare of the world. So Loka Sangraha, or the welfare of the whole world, is the primary purpose of the deeds or the works of the great incarnations like Lord Krishna. So one who knows it in exactitude, tattvataha, not just reading stories of Krishna and Rama or Ramakrishna, but understanding the significance of the birth and the deeds of the great incarnations in depth, thorough understanding, the philosophical understanding, psychological understanding, and more than anything else, spiritual understanding, spiritual significance. That is what is wanted. One who knows that, one who dwells upon that subject thoroughly, deeply, exhaustively, janma karma cha me divyam evam yo vetti tattvataha. Evam means that has been described by me so far in the last shlokas. Shlokas beginning from yada yada hi dharmasya and paritranaya sadhunam, etc. Tattvena yathavat, in its thoroughness, in its entirety, what he will do, what he will achieve, he achieves success in his life. What is the success? Any kind of attainment, secular or otherwise, is not a success at all. Success has to be redefined. If you look at from the spiritual angle, then what is success? Success is liberation. Every deed, every action that will take us towards God is a successful action, the action leading to the success. The real success lies only in liberation called moksha. There are 4 goals, cardinal goals, purushartha, every man attains to, every man attempts to get. So we have secular goals, artha and the kama, money and fulfilling desires. Unfortunately, they give us more misery than dukkha than making us satisfied or fulfilled. Unfortunate. But still people go off to that because it is very easy to go off to that, follow that, because they are very tangible and they are easily approachable. If you have a goal like money, it is something tangible. And also you go after that and you feel excitement. The more excitement you get, more you follow towards that you call happiness. So happiness is not excitement at all. So in the case of fulfilling desires, like the sensual desires, etc., dharma, artha and kama, then moksha is something supernatural. It doesn't come under the realm of the senses at all. It is to free ourselves from the bondage of the senses, the mind, that is samsara. Stop getting rebirth, stop being born again and again, and attain to the immortal state of Atman or the Brahman or the God, to become one with God, to merge with God, to be one with the consciousness of God. That needs superhuman effort, as Sri Ramakrishna and other saints and incarnations have done. So the means of both artha and kama and the dharma should, the moksha should be dharma, the righteousness. Through righteousness alone you can dream to get the moksha. Through righteousness alone you can dream to get the proper goal of artha and the kama. So here we were speaking of the goal of a goal one reaches on reaching the real significance of avatara. The avatara in essence is the janma of the avatara and also the karma of the avatara. So what he will get? त्यक्त्वा देहं पुनर्जन्म नेति त्यक्त्वा देहं पुनर्जन्म नेति मामेति सोर्जुना. So this line has to be split up into two parts. The first part is Tyaktva deham janma punaha na eti. He will not be born again. So what is the source of the rebirth? Why one should be born again and again? Because of his karma. There will be no karma left in him through which he should be born again. That means the Jnana-Agni will completely burn all his karmas. Jnana-Agni sarva karmani bhaspasat kuruterjuna. That is the condition he reaches. Or in Advaitic terms we can say, once you know the reality, how do you will know the reality? Reality you will know as your own. You are that reality. That is the knowledge. Knowing reality is not like knowing a pot or knowing the flower. Knowing yourself as a reality. I am that reality. I am that Brahman. I am that Atman. That is the knowledge. By knowing the secret of the life and the birth of an incarnation, one knows the true, one's own true identity. This is the secret. By knowing thoroughly in entirety the significance, the spiritual essence of Krishna's life and birth, what actually we will be doing is to discover our own real identity as Atman, Brahman, divine itself. Ultimately, Aham Vasudeva, I myself is Vasudeva. Vasudeva Sarvamiti, this is the knowledge. Then all karmas drops off, and there will be no janma, no rebirth at all. Tyaktva deham punarjanma na eti. Then where he will go? Mam eti, he will attain me. He will come to me. There is wonderful. What is meant by going to God? It is just like going to Mysore and see the palace there. What is meant by going to God? Krishna says here, you will come to me. Mam yeti. You will get me. What is getting the God? What is meant by attaining the God? So this can be understood in several realms. So in Vaishnavite or the Bhakti schools, sharing the bliss of the God is attaining God. There is something called Bhagavadgita. That Ananda is a part and parcel of the Lord Himself. The Ananda or the bliss we experience in day-to-day life is only a minuscule part, infinitely smaller part of the divine bliss. Not even a fraction, millionth fraction that is expressed as the Ananda one finds in this world, millionth part of it. Suppose we can shed this millionth part and go for the real bliss of the God. We share the bliss of the God. That is the liberation, that is the moksha. This is what is meant by Mam Yeti. So Sri Vaishnava school speaks of several stages. Sayujya, Samipya, Salokya. Salokya means being in the same world as the Lord resides, same abode, same status, not becoming God, not becoming one with God, but living in the same abode as Lord does. This is the Salokya. Samipya, becoming nearer to God. We need not die to attain this state. We find in the lives of great saints that they were experiencing Sayujya of the Lord, presence of the God, practice of presence of the God. We feel the presence of the external world, but the great saints used to feel the presence of God's consciousness. This is Sayujya, Samipya. Samipya. And ultimately Sayujya, feeling one with God. My individuality is lost forever. I have no individuality to call as my own, my. I have become one with God. As Radha used to say, I and Krishna are one and the same. I am Krishna. It is Sayujya, becoming one. Advaita Bhakti is called Advaita Anubhuti. And a love and loved one becomes one and the same. Tyaktva deham punarjanma naiti mameti pandava. It's all fiction, one can say. There is nobody in this world, or rather there was no one in this world who have attained the stage. To answer to this question, Krishna continues, Vitaraga bhayakrodhaha manmaya mamupashritaha bahavo jnana tapasaha puta madbhava magataha. One of the excellent shlokas. Bahavaha jnana tapasaha. There are number of people who had practiced, who have undertaken the jnana tapas, where jnana itself is the tapas. So we have dravya yajna, tapo yajna, etc. Here tapas is not different from the jnana. This man is not practicing any independent austerity other than knowing his own identity with the God. You may not always say identity is possible only through Brahma Jnana or Atma Jnana, strictly according to the Advaitic doctrine. No. Even bhakti, as Bhagavata says, then takes us to non-differentiation, complete identity with the Lord. The love binds, as Swami Vivekananda says, There will be love and a lover, love with the binding factor, and love unites the love and the lover, and there will be unity of love and the lover. Jnana tapasa, through the jnana tapas. What is austerity? Austerity. We have to decimate the word tapas here. What is tapas? Tapas means burning. We have to control ourselves. We have to restrain ourselves. That is called tapas. An official definition of the tapas says, manasascha indriyanancha aikagram tapa uchyate. So, one mind is running in one particular direction, but the body and the senses are running in a different direction. That is the condition of ordinary people. When one can make the energies of the body, mind, senses, everything, all psychical energies, all physical energy pointing towards one direction, for the attainment of a particular goal, that is God, that is called tapas. Normally tapas is understood as fasting or condemning the body, making the body torture. That is not the real tapas at all. But when you are trying to torture the body, most of the mind will be dwelt on the body. Most people, those who try fasting, their mind will be on the food. That is the problem. And we do not know the meaning of upavasa at all. What is upavasa? Vasa means residing. Upa means near, living near or residing near. Near whom? God. At the time of upavasa, we have to learn to live with God. That means constantly remember God. That is upavasa. Upavasa is not fasting. It is a wrong translation. So, when I say I am fasting, it's okay. But when you say I am doing upavasa, you may not be right. Upavasa means dwelling near God. Why the terminology has come? That is because people try fasting so that they may forget body and keep their mind on God. That is why. It is a means, fasting only a means to keep the mind on God. If your fasting doesn't allow you to keep the mind on God, it is not upavasa, it is just fasting. So we have to be extremely careful here. So here tapa is nothing but jnana. Bahavo jnana tapasa. Shankara Bhagavad-pada in his commentary in a beautiful, simple, lucid way he says, jnanameva tapaha. Jnana is an independent tapa. It doesn't need, jnana does not need the help of any tapas. Even a king can practice jnana, a beggar also can practice jnana. A sannyasin can practice jnana, and householder also can practice jnana. Then what kind of jnana? Paramatma Vishayam Jnanam. Paramatma, the Supreme Spirit who is dwelling in my heart as the source of consciousness, about Him understanding, discovering, realizing, that is the tapas. Through that jnana tapas, Bahavaha, many people, many saints, even prior to the time of Lord Krishna, they become purified. They became purified, rather. It was a past tense. They had become purified in the past. Putaha. It is an act of purification. Just like to take your jewels and make it pure. A jeweler, the smith, locksmith will purify it by burning in the fire. Here jnana itself is the fire, and our mind is the jewelry. It may be 80% gold or 90% gold. It should be made 100% gold. Our mind should become completely devoid of all contaminants. Kama, Krodha, Lobha, Moha, Mada, Matsarya. We have to keep the mind spick and span so that the Lord enter into our heart or the mind. If Lord has to enter into our heart, so-called the drawing room in the words of Sri Ramakrishna, Bhakta's heart is the drawing room of the Lord, Sri Ramakrishna says, because Bhakta's heart is very pure, spick and span. You don't invite an officer or a very important person to filthy place in your house. You clean it. You keep it tidy. There should not be any dust anywhere in the room. Then only you will invite a VIP, very important person. Here we are inviting the Lord Himself. Atma, He is the Atma of the Atma. Kshetrajnam chapimam vidhi. He is the supreme dweller in every heart. Sarva bhutastha, Lord says in the Gita. If we want Him to enter into our heart, we have to purify it by jnana tapas. That's what the great ones in the past had done. Such people, madbhavam agataha. I am going by reverse order. Madbhavam, Shankaracharya says, Ishvara bhava. I am the same as Ishvara. So far I was worshipping Ishvara, considering I am different from Ishvara, I am different from God. But now I and my beloved are one and the same. That is the moksha. Ishvara bhavam gataha. They attain the liberation, moksha. What were the qualities of such great ones? In the first line describes beautifully, they are completely bereft of all kinds of negative emotions. Be it raga, bhaya, krodhaha. Raga, bhaya and the krodha. These are the factors that have bound us to the samsara. transmigratory existence. All our actions, as Krishna has already instructed us, by raga dvesha prayuktaha. So if we can work without any attachment, only for the God, mat karma krut, mat paramaha. O Lord, it is your work. You are the purpose of my objective of my work. I am your devotee. There are three factors in that beautiful sloka in the 11th chapter, last sloka, 55th sloka, which both Shankaracharya and Madhvacharya profess, containing essence of the whole Gita. Mat karma krutu, mat paramaha, mat bhaktaha. These are the three key words. If you want to work, consider your work as the Lord's work. Consider the purpose or the objective of your work to be the Lord Himself. And consider yourself to be a devotee of the Lord. So there will be no room for raga, attachment. What is the source of the raga? The source of the raga is ahankara, asmita, wrong identification with the body and mind. And how this ahankara originates? Ahankara originates due to my ignorance. I am the body, I am the mind. If I know or if I feel I am the Atman, I am the Supreme Spirit, I am the Supreme Consciousness, and there will be no ahankara, no asmita, and there will be no attachment at all, and there will be no dvesha or the hatred also, because the attachment, aversion are the two faces of the same coin. Where there is an attachment, there is always aversion, raga, dvesha. Avidya, asmita, raga, dvesha, and also bhaya. Then there will be no bhaya. So Vitaraga Bhaya Krodha has to be read like this. Vitaraga, divide of attachment. The persons who were actually, there were many people of the type who were devoid of the raga, attachment, bhaya, the fear, clinging to life, or the fear of death, and krodha. Why kama is not mentioned? Kama is one expression of the same thing that we call as krodha. Krodha is another expression. We have already read in the 3rd chapter. Kama yesha, krodha yesha. When one becomes vitaraga bhaya krodha, what remains in the mind? Only Lord. Manmayaha. Ishvara abheda darshinaha. Acharya says, when mind is completely merged in the consciousness of the Lord, the individuality is completely lost. Manmaya. Maya means full of, in abundance. When the crucible or a vessel is full of water, there is not a drop of water can enter into that. That is called Maya. Mayat Pratyaya. Full of it. So mind is full of what? My mind is full of God's consciousness. I don't feel anything other than God's consciousness. I don't feel myself different from God's consciousness. I am enjoying the God's bliss in plenty, in abundance. Manmayaha. And what shelter he takes under in such circumstance and such an exalted state. Mam upashritaha. He will be completely dependent upon me. Completely dependent upon me. Completely dependent upon the Lord Krishna, Lord Ramakrishna. Vitaraga bhaya krodhaha manmaya mam upashritaha. Bahavaha, such people who were purified by jnana tapas, the knowledge, jnana tapasa putaha, number of them, many of them have attained me, they have attained me, madbhava magataha, in the past. There were great examples in the past who have attained that stage. It is not that no one is capable of achieving that. Om Shanti 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 Hari Om Tat Sat Shri Rama Krishna Arpanamastu. One minute. There is ಒಂದು ಆಧ್ಯಾತ್ಮಿಕ ಶಿಬಿರ ಅಕ್ಟೋಬರ್ ತಿಂಗಳಿನಲ್ಲಿ ಪೊನ್ನಂಪೇಟೆಯ ಆಶ್ರಮದಲ್ಲಿ ಆರಂಭ ಆಗ್ತಾ ಇದೆ. ಅದರ ಬ್ಯಾನರನ್ನು ನಾವು ಹೊರಗಡೆ ಹಾಕಿದ್ದೀವಿ. ಅದೇ ರೀತಿ ಅದರ ಒಂದು ಸಾಹಿತ್ಯ, ಲಿಟ್ರೇಚರ್, ಇನ್ಫಾರ್ಮೇಷನ್ ಬ್ರೋಚರ್ ಅದನ್ನು ನಾವು ವಾಟ್ಸಪ್ ಮೂಲಕ ಕಳಿಸ್ಕೊಡ್ತೀವಿ. ಅಕ್ಟೋಬರ್ ಮೊದಲನೇ ವಾರದಲ್ಲಿ 5 ದಿವಸಗಳ ಆಧ್ಯಾತ್ಮಿಕ ಶಿಬಿರ. ಎಲ್ಲರೂ ಕೂಡ ಅದಕ್ಕೆ ನೋಂದಣಿಯನ್ನು ಮಾಡ್ಕೋಬೋದು. ವಸತಿ ಸಹಿತವಾಗಿ 1800 ರೂಪಾಯಿ ಇರುತ್ತೆ.